so don't afraid to experiment with the strings. If you're studying, if you are planning to become a professional violin player, you should know these things. You should know what kind of strings work better with your violin. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Valeria and I'm your violin teacher. On my channel you will find a lot of violin lessons for the beginners, intermediate lessons. I have a question for you. Which part of violin we are changing a lot? Sometimes even every 3 months. Yes, of course, it's strings. So for something like 10 years already, I've been fan of one string brand, and it was Vibrato. I love those strings, but at one point I thought like, well, maybe it's time to change something. Maybe it's time to try something else, you know, something new for me. And I talked with my friends, with my colleagues. I asked them what kind of strings they using. Maybe there is some new brands that they might suggest me. And a lot of people, they told me that Larsen Virtuoso is something that I should consider. By the way, this video is not sponsored, or I'm not the ambassador of these strings or something like they send me those strings for free. I bought these strings on my favorite website by myself, for myself. And I thought, since I have a YouTube channel and since I have already a lot of subscribers and a lot of followers on my Instagram account, by the way, valeriiavoitko violin, if you have any questions or you want just talk, you always can find me there. I have pretty big community there already, so please welcome. So I thought I should do a review for these strings. Maybe it will be helpful for some of you. First of all, when these strings arrived, I was not that I was very impressed, but surprised. It was a nice surprise. These strings, they are coming in nice plastic boxy. Every string has her own envelope. Very actually fancy envelope, you know. This combination of red and gold letters always look expensive, I would say. And here behind they have very nice stamps. It's kind of throwing us all the way back in the history when people, they were writing the letters. To close that letter, they were putting that stamp. To seal that letter, they were putting that stamp. So here is the same thing. I really like it actually. The packing, it feels special, you know. So probably what I have to mention, that these strings, they're synthetic core strings, and I don't want to go in more details like A string made of this, E string is made of this. The most important that it's synthetic core strings. Also, these strings are coming in medium tension and strong tension. I personally prefer strings with a medium tension. Larsen Virtuoso medium tension strings has an extraordinary string response. Strong tension strings, they are more soloistic strings because the string have more resistance to the bow. What I have noticed with these strings, that with these strings it's much more easier to do vibrato. I don't know, somehow the string respond very good when you are doing a vibrato. As well, much more easier to do shifting, and of course intonation. These strings are helping you a lot with the intonation. At the beginning the sound was metallic, I say, but these things are okay with any strings. When you're just putting them on the violin, the sound is metallic and sometimes even worse, but it will be okay. As soon as the strings will settle down, the sound will be beautiful, really, really beautiful. If your practicing is regular, maximum 1 week and the string will settle down. So how the violin respond for the Larsen Virtuoso? First of all, remember that every violin is different, the same like as the people. Every person is different, yeah, and every violin has her own needs, yeah. What about my violin? My violin for G and D strings, she's like dark. She have a dark, sound, and it's very hard to project and to create very nice and warm sound in high positions. When the strings are bad, when the quality of the strings are very bad, and I'm playing in the high positions on my violin, it feels like my violin is choking. She's trying to project, she's trying to create. Actually, I'm trying to create the good sound here in the project, but now we're talking about violin. So she's trying, but she cannot, so you have to remember the strings always have to help your violin. And with the Larsen Virtuoso, these strings help me a lot. Now for me it's much more easier to project, to create warmer sound. Even the intonation in the higher position became better, so I don't have to use a lot of vibrato now to create better sound, full sound. So these strings huge help for my violin, for G and D string. A string on my violin, I don't have much problem with it. E string, the E string sometimes also can be a troublemaker, because by itself my violin is very loud on E string. And of course the highest position on E string, the less intelligence I have in my sound. So somehow my instrument with the Virtuoso Larsen strings on E getting so much colors. In general, these strings helping you a lot with the intonation. When you are putting your finger on the fingerboard, you prepare yourself to play some note, and it seems like you are in tune. What's happening with the bad quality strings? It seems like you are in tune, but you can hear the overtones. Something is not right. It seems like you are in tune, but it doesn't sound really complete. With virtuoso strings, when you are placing your finger and it's in tune, and you can hear it, and you can hear that the note is complete. You are not only in tune, the overtones are also on the place. So there is no that twilight zone, I would say. Vibrato. To do vibrato also is much more easier. First of all, for the beginners, usually when they're trying to vibrate, they're getting out of tune. It's okay, it can be fixed, but now we are talking about more complex things. It's more for advanced violin players and professional players. When we are doing vibrato, we can hear the overtones. And with the bad quality strings, those overtones, they are not completing the note, they are not completing the intonation. With the Larsen strings, much more easier, and I can say it clearly, and I can say it for 100% because I tried it. I'm playing these strings now for 3 months, maybe a little bit more. And the other thing, bad quality strings, they're getting out of tune very fast. Like 3 months, that's it, you should change it. Larsen, they didn't lost in the brightness, they didn't lost in the tuning. We shall see how long they will last. If you have a dark violin, the violin that it's hard to project with, Larsen will be very good for you. Again, remember that every violin has her own problems, and the strings, they mean to help your violin and you, of course, too, to create better sound, to project better, for you to not work so hard on certain things. So don't afraid to experiment with the strings. At the end, we can say that Of course, it's a money that you're spending for the violin strings, but if you're studying, if you are planning to become a professional violin player, you should know these things. You should know what kind of strings work better with your violin. Now the price of these strings, it's 58 euro. I bought it for 58 euro, and I did a research on the internet and I saw it's like $69. Well, these strings, you can say kind of expensive. Well, again, you know, for somebody expensive, for somebody it's not very expensive. What I would say that if you're a beginner, there is no need to buy such strings. You know, there is some other brands that will do just great for you, but these strings, they are more for professionals and for advanced. So if you're a beginner, this information will be good to know for you in the future. But this price, it's a fair price for these strings. So it's not less and it's not too much. I'll put a thumb up for these strings, and you, if you like this video, don't forget to put thumbs up too. And by the way, don't forget to subscribe and press the bell. Like this, you will get a notification when my new video will be ready for you. And in general, I have so much information already, especially for the beginner violin players. And of course, I'm preparing new videos and new information for you. Every week, every Wednesday, you can find a new video lesson or maybe a review on my channel. And of course, don't forget to practice. Bye!